Good afternoon and many thanks for joining us. I am Ansmane Sonyasi and this is QTV Midday News coming to you live from our studios along Kairaba Avenue. Here are the main local news headlines. Adama Barrow, the presidential incumbent and candidate of the NPP-led Grand Coalition, on Sunday returned to Banjul to a rousing welcome as part of his election campaign tour. Regional health and disaster officials in the North Bank region on Friday launched the polio vaccination campaign in Farafenni. Observed on the third Sunday in November every year, Sunday the 20th of November was World Day of Remembrance for road traffic victims. We hear how the day was commemorated by the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure. And as part of its 26th anniversary, the Banjul Upper and Senior Secondary School on Saturday held its 6th graduation ceremony for grade 12 students. Well, those were our main headlines, and now we take a look at the news in detail. Stay tuned. Adama Barrow, incumbent president and candidate of the NPP-led Grand Coalition, on Sunday returned to Banjul to a rousing welcome after what he said has been a successful election campaign tour in rural Gambia. This story by Alucise is narrated by Momodu Gachaka.
Excitement and jubilation amidst a roadblock closed the capital's major highways on Sunday from the Kalaji Bridge to the State House in Banjul. Thousands lined the highway to welcome and escort the president as he returned from the first leg of his election campaign tour in rural Gambia. It took the president's convoy several hours to reach the State House, despite several attempts by presidential guards to clear the road to quicken the journey. Energetic and proud-looking men and women, young and old, chanted phrases which translated support and praised the president as they blocked the road and ran alongside the convoy. The president was received on arrival at the State House by the Vice President Dr. Aissatou Touré, Lady Sajombalo Barrow, some of the coalition partners and cabinet ministers. Speaking to reporters, President Barrow, the NPP-led Grand Coalition candidate, said the dialogue with the people campaign tour was successful and that he is confident of victory on December 4th. He expressed appreciation for the welcome accorded to him in rural Gambia, and on his return to Banjul, which he believes is a assurance of a landslide win for his Grand Coalition.
My main focus and direction, everything, everybody knows that, is infrastructural development. Because without infrastructure, you cannot develop your country. If you want to develop the health sector, there must be infrastructure. Energy, there must be infrastructure. Roads, there must be infrastructure. So infrastructural development is everything. I will continue with my infrastructural development for this country, and I think the people have appreciated it.
The president has been away in rural Gambia for over the last 12 days to dialogue with Gambians as he bids for re-election. Momodu Kajiga, QTV News.
Now, regional health and disaster officials in the North Bank region on Saturday launched the polio vaccination campaign in Farafenni. Don Williams reports.
The regional launch is part of the national vaccination campaign launched to eradicate polio type 2, which was discovered in the country in August, prompted the declaration of a public health emergency and plans to vaccinate all children under 5. The theme for the event in the North Bank region is Keep Gambia Polio Free. Lamin Sedikan, deputizing the governor of North Bank region, delivered a statement on behalf of the government.
The Global Polio Eradication Initiative has introduced the novel type 2 vaccine as critical new tool in fight against circulating vaccine-derived poliovirus type 2. And the vaccine is safe and effective. With launching of polio type 2 vaccine, the Gambia joins many other front-runner countries like Senegal, Benin, Liberia, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, just to name a few, that have already introduced vaccine. I urge all health partners, workers, religious leaders, parents, caregivers and stakeholders to support this campaign and make it necessary successful one. We each must do our part to ensure that all under 5 children are vaccinated.
He further went on to remind the public about COVID-19.
I also want to remind the vaccinators and the community to continue to be mindful of COVID-19 prevention measures as polio type 2 vaccines are being administered.
Abdullah Jajo, the regional health director, also had this to say.
Regionally, the expected children to be vaccinated from 0 to 59 months is about 20,840. This year's polio campaign is due to the detection of the circulating polio virus 2 in the sewage system within the Greater Banjul area and KMC.
Mr. Jaju congratulates the WHO African region and all the volunteers.
Today, I wish to congratulate the WHO African region for its monumental achievement in eradicating polio.
John Joseph Mendy, the regional principal nursing officer, gave the vote of thanks.
I wish to take this opportunity to thank all the delegates.
Parents are urged to ensure that their children are vaccinated to successfully eradicate the disease. Don Williams reporting for QTV News from Farafeni.
The World Day of Remembrance for Road Traffic Victims is observed on the third Sunday in November every year to acknowledge victims of road traffic crashes and their families. The day was commemorated on Sunday by the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure at the Westfield Monument to reflect and discuss key issues surrounding road traffic accidents in the Gambia. Jawa tells us more.
The day was dedicated to remembering the millions who have been killed and seriously injured on the world's roads, and to also acknowledge the suffering of all affected victims, families and communities. This commemoration should be an important tool in global efforts to reduce road casualties. The day provided an opportunity for stakeholders to draw the public's attention to road traffic crashes, their consequences and costs, and preventative measures.
It's an important tool in global efforts to reduce road casualties. It offers an opportunity for drawing attention to the scale of emotional and economic devastation caused by road crashes, and for giving recognition to the suffering of road crash victims and the work of support and rescue services.
Alassane Job, a representative of the Attorney General's Chambers and the Ministry of Justice, says commemorating the day draws attention to the scale of the emotional and economic devastations caused by road crashes and to acknowledge the suffering of road traffic victims.
The objectives of this day are to provide a platform for road traffic victims and their families to remember all the people who have been killed and seriously injured on the roads, to acknowledge the crucial work of the emergency services, to draw attention to the generally trivial legal response to culpable road deaths and injuries, and to advocate for better support for road traffic victims and victims' families.
The Managing Director of the National Road Authority, Mamadou Senghor, also commented on the importance of the day.
Today serves as a wake-up call for all of us to put words and plans to action and do more towards the prevention of this life-threatening experience that could befall any one of us at any moment on our roads. To address this current challenge, we must work together as institutions, as committees, and as people.
Mamadou Gassama, a representative of WHO, and Professor Lamin Sidibe of the American International University, West Africa, both raised concerns over the high rate of road traffic accidents in the Gambia, which according to them are as a result of overspeeding, carelessness and recklessness of some drivers.
If we look at the global statistics, nearly 20 to 50 million people are injured every year, in addition to the 1.3 million people who die.
What I'm saying today is not only psychological knowledge, but observational knowledge. Reckless driving, negligence, carelessness, use of mobiles while driving, drug-related driving, anger.
With the Gambia ranking number 4 in the world's road traffic accidents index, the World Remembrance for Road Traffic Victims 2021 put the spotlight on the reduction of traffic speeds, which have the potential to prevent many deaths and serious injuries for vulnerable road users. If we are serious about addressing such a terrible statistic, the Gambia needs to move beyond commemoration to taking decisive action to address the problem. Reporting for QTV News, I am Yahya Jao.
And that report by Jao there will lead us to a short commercial break, but the news continues when we return.
Looking for the fastest and easiest way to receive money transfers from abroad? Well, QMoney and RIA just made it happen. Now you can receive international money transfer from RIA directly into your QMoney account with no additional cost. Once you receive an SMS alert about your transfer, walk into any QMoney agent across the country to receive your payment for free, or use the money immediately to buy credit, QPower, and other QMoney services. It's fast, safe, and convenient. For more info, call customer care on 133. QMoney, Sunu Calpe. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back from a short commercial break. Now, as part of its 26th anniversary, the Banjul Upper and Senior Secondary School on Saturday held its 6th graduation ceremony for grade 12 students at the school grounds in Banjul. Omar Pejalo attended the ceremony and this is his report.
This year's graduation theme is Politics Should Not Divide Us. 364 students, including 211 girls, and 153 boys have completed their 3-year study program in the school. In his welcoming remarks, Mr. Asan Juf, a senior teacher at the school, said Banjul Upper and Senior Secondary School is among the top schools in the country in terms of excellence in education, adding that the school has produced brilliant students who are contributing to the socio-economic development of the country. The principal of the school, Sekou Samusa, commended last year's grade 12 students for their brilliant performance and expressed high hope that this batch will beat the previous one's performance in external exams, even though in the previous batch, 98% of the candidates scored 5 credits and above, which means that they were eligible to be admitted at the University of the Gambia. Mr. Samusa further revealed that the school attaches great importance to academic performance, discipline and hard work, extracurricular activities, professional development, monitoring and evaluation to enhance learning and contribute to the attainment of quality education.
The 2020 WAS results have been analyzed at subject level, gender and overall pass in a bid to inform management decision and training needs for future improvement. The results were analyzed through teacher professional development workshop on both terminal and annual basis to assess teacher competence and performance for accountability as prescribed in the performance appraisal system in human resource management.
Momodu Conte, the SMC chairman, lauded the management and teachers for their invaluable support for quality education and learning. He said the parents are proud of the quality of students' performance in the WAS exams over the years and has these words of advice for the graduates.
For the graduates, I want to remind you that you've worked hard to reach to this stage today. But always remember, the journey starts today. Make sure you work harder to acquire more knowledge, because knowledge is power.
Ade Drame, the head of news at QTV Gambia, who was the guest speaker of the occasion, described the team as timely and apt, citing the fact that the country will be going to the polls in less than 2 weeks. He thanked the school for the giant stride in achieving academic excellence, while calling on the graduates not to allow politicians to use them to instigate violence, as they and their families will never participate in such violence. Rather, he urged them to be tolerant to one another. Mr. Drame also gave words of wisdom to the graduating students.
And I've seen over 100 coups d'etats and over 50 civil wars across Africa in my lifetime. And I'm not even 100 years old. So just imagine, and almost every one of those civil wars and those coups d'etats were due to politics, and because people allowed politics to divide them.
Delivering the vote of thanks, the outgoing head girl of the school, Loli Drame, advised the students to take education seriously and always respect their teachers and urged them to make best use of their parents' money invested on them.
There is no iota of doubt that this great school has fully prepared us for life after grade 12.
Reporting for QTV News, I am Omar P. Jallo.
Now, Mentorship and the Community Joint Support Organization, in partnership with the U.S. State Embassy in the Gambia on Monday, presented a Braille printer and laptops to the Gambia Organization of the Visually Impaired. On this report.
Limited resources pose a major challenge for access to education for the blind, hard of hearing, and children with Down syndrome. MCJ Support Organization aims to provide quality education to all children, including those with special needs challenges, with easy access and a conducive learning environment. The donated high-end Braille printer and 6 laptops are to promote access to education for the visually impaired. Handed over the equipment, Mohamed Jokajouf, founder and president of MCJ Support, says his organization has initiated many projects to support the visually impaired, who he said are among the most vulnerable in society.
Mr. Kweli made us understand that they have issues with regards to Braille printer. And without a Braille printer, they are not going to be able to print the lessons for the kids. So now, how can we synergize the national curriculum with what is being taught in the blind school here? Which means we need to have a Braille printer, but not just a Braille printer. We could have just gone and just get any Braille printer. But this particular Braille printer is able to recognize or speak while you press it. So if you press a button and you want to print, even if you're not sighted, you're able to print. So now you also have 2 advantages with regards to the Braille printer, which means you can use a Braille paper and you can use the ordinary A4 size paper.
Molly Wagne, the Cultural Affairs Associate at the U.S. Embassy in Gambia, highlights the importance of supporting such initiatives, saying the U.S. State Department is committed to assisting differently abled persons.
The U.S. Embassy is really dedicated to supporting human rights and the rights of differently abled people in the Gambia, and projects like this and working with partners like Muhammad make that really easy for us. And I'm pleased today to have met Mr. Kohli and have met our partners here at Govi, and we are excited to have this donation of.
Lamin Kohli, the director of Govi, expressed appreciation to the donors, adding that the equipments will be used appropriately.
All the textbooks that are in the country are not in Braille. So this prevents the visually impaired children to have access to reading materials. But with the provision of this Braille embosser, we'll be able to provide textbooks for each visually impaired children in Govi. So on that note, we are very happy to receive this equipment.
Capacity building training will be conducted for the staff of Govi and regional instructors on how to use computers for the blind and facilitate the unification of the national syllabus to Braille for blind students across the country.
Govi, school for the blind. Thank you all, we are very grateful. We know that we are vulnerable. Help